Hey guys, how's it going? Joe Coronel here with the Crown Life, Crown Financial, and Crown Coaching Academy. Really quick, I was thinking about some stuff today and the last couple of days, and I usually talk to my team about some of the things that we noticed affect us on a daily basis. And one of the things that I'm noticing more and more is we're getting better at, I should say, within our organization. I always talk about not getting hung up on things like emotion, and I always talk about that. Emotion is something that kind of affects a lot of us. Guys, if you hear music, that's, I don't own the rights to it. It's actually, I think, the place next door jamming out. But one of the things I wanted to share with you guys is that I noticed that, you guys follow me. If you guys had a chance to listen to me, you guys would understand that I talk about not getting caught up in the emotions of things, and that goes to say with generally just basically in life. And what I mean by that, and if you're first time on here, welcome. And if you do, keep up with us, well, thank you. And hit the subscribe button. Every time I hit a video, you guys will see it. Every time I post a video, you'll see it. And I try to put information basically that I know has helped me in my career, and that I put together basically generally in life. And what I mean by that is even doing that I do martial arts, which would be jujitsu and Muay Thai and other things, self defense stuff. Um, Emotion is something that can get in our way, and it can really affect us. Can really affect our business and affect us generally, basically overall, in making poor decisions. And I'm going to give you an example. And example number one, two, and three, or whatever. Example number one is that some people are impulsive buyers. Sometimes you make an impulse decision just on emotion right there and then on the way you feel. And just because you get this feeling at the moment, instead of just, I'll give you an example, is, you buy a car sometimes, and or you buy something smaller than a car, but you made an impulse decision, not realizing, man, I really didn't need this payment. I really didn't need this, and one of the things I read a while back was some of the greatest value that we have, or greatest, I guess, knowledge, self knowledge that we can use is go home, think about it. Go home and just think about it a little bit, instead of making that impulse decision. Do I really need it? And what was that Benjamin Franklin close where you draw a line down the middle of the page, the pros and the cons? You write down all the pros and the cons. Those tactics seem funny, and sometimes they seem a little cliche, but guys, those exist because they work. They help us. They help us in making impulse and crazy emotional decisions. And a lot of times we make these crazy decisions because it just made us feel good at the time. Whatever it is. And you guys can attest to this generally in life. That was one, is a purchase, an impulse purchase. We make bad purchases just simply because it made us feel good at the moment. We bought. That's one of the things. The other things, relationships. Sometimes we do things on impulse. And I'm not going to go into detail on relationships, what I mean by that, but we have seen where people get caught up in the wrong relationship with the wrong people just because of the emotion, or the belief that we get this emotion, and we feel we got to be this certain way or whatever. Think about it, guys. Should I talk to this person? Is this person somebody that's influential in my life? Is this person somebody that doesn't bring any value at all? And more than anything, is this going to be a toxic relationship, a toxic friendship? So that's something we got to really think about, and emotion gets involved. We go basically in sports. I watch some people that, and I can say this for myself, is watching sports on TV. Sometimes I have to throttle back and laugh, and being that right now it's been tough on my college team, and my NFL team has been tough, and we got to make better conscious decisions as far as yelling at a TV and getting all crazy. Literally, it's just whatever. I don't get paid by that organization. I don't have any ties to it. It's just a team I watch, and I have to tell myself that. And we laugh at that. And if you guys know, I'm a Cowboys fan and I'm a Longhorns fan, and those two teams have been terrible. Well, right now it's tough to watch, but it's just, they're just sports. At the end of the day, it's like whatever, not a big deal, and don't get so emotional about it. And it's for your own health and your own benefit, just whatever, and move on. In sports, you know, us, if you do jujitsu and Muay Thai, sometimes we notice young people come into the sport that we're in, and they try to muscle everything. They try to use a lot of strength. And you know, being an older guy or being a smaller guy, if you're just patient and you don't let the emotion bother you, a lot of these people that are young, they put all this craziness and they end up getting caught in something. You know, if you watch, prime example, we have a boxing match coming up. Anthony Ruiz and this guy Joshua, the boxers. You know, Anthony Ruiz looks so patient in there, guys. Was he emotional? Did he go in there? Well, who knows? I don't know exactly how he felt, but you can just tell he was probably really calm, really patient. He got clipped. He got right back up. Very patient. Didn't even get caught up in the emotion. Like, I got to go after this guy. All he did is put his punches together, and he ended up pulling out the victory. So sometimes our emotion, you guys get involved and they just start swinging like crazy. And you've seen this, and they end up getting clipped. So it's no difference in this business, guys. The emotion that I mean by that is sometimes you're working in this business and you're talking to people on a daily basis. Hey, you know what, Joe, I did everything. I'm talking to 30 people. I've talked to 30 people today. I talked to 20 people, whatever you did. Well, we got to go and diagnose what you're doing wrong. You know, is your closing wrong? Is your presentation off? There's got to be something somewhere that we're losing the client. Just don't get emotional about it. Let's just diagnose the situation and move on rather than getting hung up on it, letting it affecting your day, affecting your week, affecting your month and your quarter. Let's just try to diagnose the situation. Are you getting in front of enough people? Put pressure on the system. In other words, if you just talk to 30 people, but you know you got to be talking to 80 to 100 people per day, that means you just got to put more pressure on the system. Quit putting pressure on the client in front of you. Quit putting pressure on yourself. It's not healthy for you. Our business is not a hard business, being that we are in sales. I'm not going to say that it's not labor intensive. It's not. You just got to put time and effort into this business. But one thing it can be detrimental to your health, being stressed out, taking that home. It affects your relationship at home with your family. So don't put pressure on yourself. Don't let that emotion cloud you. Sometimes we let that emotion get the best of us, and we go home and we take it out on, you see agents take it out on their family or advisors. You start seeing it affect their business. It affects their partners at work as well. Nobody wants to work with them because they're so toxic. They're bringing such a bad vibe and all this. So what you want to do is clear that up, guys. Don't let the emotion get the best of you. Do the best that you can to be at peace and relax. Some people like to go fishing, make time for those things. Some people like to go to the gym, make time for that. Some people like to run in the mornings, make time for that. Whatever is your peace and reduces the emotion, please make time for that. So number 2, I'm going to share something with you, and it's something that I learned. A gentleman told me this story, and it's, everybody's religious in different ways, whatever. It's not to be religious or anything, but this gentleman, pretty religious guy, I should say, and God-fearing man. And he was telling me a story once about this other gentleman that was dating a girl, and I don't know what happened or what. In an altercation, some guy called the girl a name. They kind of bumped into this girl. I guess he had talked to her in the past, whatever. And the guy called her a name, and the girl got really emotional. And the girl was expecting for him to do something, because that's just what she expected, that he would go in and defend her honor for him saying something. And being that this guy really practices his not get emotional stuff, and he was not emotional at all, and he basically told her, I understand what he called you, but if that's not you, we go back as a child. Sticks and stones may break your bones or whatever, but, words will never hurt me. Well, basically, it was really simple, just like that. He called her a name and he said, well, it's not you. It's not you, correct? She said, no, then let's not worry about it. And it made me think about how most people would have reacted in such an emotional way, and an altercation would have just ensued from that. But because this person was so calm, and we have to help, he had to help her realize, don't be emotional, The guy has the right to have an opinion. He can think what he wants. He can say what he wants. It's not you. Move on. We have a movie to get to, whatever the case was. But it was really interesting how it was just kind of like water off a duck's back, and it's not a big deal. He just kind of trudged through it. So don't get beat up on these things, guys. Let's practice the not being emotional, impulsive buying. Impulsive reactions, or emotion gets the best of us, and we have this crazy emotional reaction. That's something that affects us. And then the other thing is, don't be emotional in your business. In other words, yes, I'm not saying to be a completely bland person. Correct, you're gonna have emotion, but don't let it affect you in a negative way where you're putting pressure onto your clients or your prospects, or you as an advisor, you're putting it onto to the rest of your team or your organization. So don't be toxic to yourself or toxic to others. And I think that'll help you guys, and it's worked for me. I try my best to not get emotional about things. And another thing I would go over is, to be number 3, that was number 2, a situation, altercation. Don't be emotional. And the last one being that, if you understand that, and you guys probably see this, people who are late to work, they get really emotional, driving fast, rushing back in, they forgot something, whatever that is, you're already late. You're already late. Don't put your life at risk speeding. That's the worst thing that can happen. You lose control, kill yourself. We sat with a family a few days ago, and this gentleman lost his life because his emotion got the best of him. He forgot his cell phone, and he went back to the house, flying back to the house, and lost control on the way back, and killed himself. 24-year-old young man, and over a phone, guys. Over a phone. It is what it is. And he was late to work, and he kind of rushed out the door, and his spouse is telling the story that his whole thing was that he was late. Don't you understand? I'm late, and I forgot my phone, and he kind of just rushed out. He lost control and lost his life. Guys, we just need to really throttle back a little bit. I don't be such a downer, but I don't mean to be a downer, but seriously, quit being so emotional. Relax a little bit. Take it easy. There is a time to be intense, and but this situation, being intense in the incorrect situation, and it can affect you, and it affected him dearly. I mean, he lost his life. Now his wife's left with a child on his own just because of poor decision over a cell phone and being late. So, throttle back a little bit, relax. Don't be so emotional. Don't be so quick to react to emotion. And I hope that works for you guys. It works for me. I constantly tell myself, to relax on certain things. Having kids and having a growing business, and still trying to put everything into my business, and not being so emotional, guys. So I hope this information is good for you guys. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, you guys can message me. And don't forget to subscribe to the Crown Life and the Crown Life period. And again, guys, relax a little bit, have fun in what you're doing, enjoy your life. Try not to be emotional. Don't be toxic to others, and don't let other toxic people affect your business. And that don't mean just specifically in work. I mean just in your life in general. So let's relax in everything, and just become better at what we do, guys. So, to everybody, see you guys at the top. Talk to you guys then. Joe Coronado. Bye.